Number 10, the physical world you are touching right now is a mathematical hallucination. At the subatomic level, matter does not exist in a fixed location. Before you observe it, a particle is not a solid object. It is a smeared probability, occupying every possible state and location simultaneously in a cold, dimensionless void. This is quantum superposition. It means the ground beneath you, the screen you are staring at, and the very atoms composing your own heart are in a state of chaotic flux. They only collapse into a solid, measurable shape because a conscious mind forces them to. You are not navigating a stable universe. You are walking through a sterile, unrendered architecture that only builds the floor a fraction of a second before your foot strikes it. If the reality you perceive is just a forced collapse of probabilities, what exactly is lurking in the dark when you close your eyes? We build our entire civilization on the illusion of stability. We look at the laws of physics, at gravity, and the linear flow of time, and arrogant as we are, we mistake them for eternal truths. In reality, what we call absolute laws are nothing more than local weather conditions in a deeply chaotic, indifferent cosmos. Take time, for example. You believe you are living a single, continuous life, moving smoothly from the past into a promised future. This is a neurological hallucination. According to the strict limits of human anatomy, it takes your brain approximately 13 milliseconds to process a visual image. 13 milliseconds. To a slow, biological organism, that feels instantaneous. To the universe, it is an absolute eternity of blindness. At the fundamental level of reality, the cosmos operates on the Planck time 5.39 times 10 to the negative 44th power seconds. This is the shortest possible interval of time. It is the exact threshold where the laws of physics begin to crumble into incoherent noise. Every time a quantum fluctuation occurs in the vacuum of space, reality decays and branches into new, unpredictable configurations at this unfathomable speed. By the time your neural pathways manage to stitch together a single frame of reality, in those sluggish 13 milliseconds, the universe has already been destroyed, split, and reborn more times than there are grains of sand on Earth. You are not experiencing reality in real time. You are a biological glitch, hopelessly lagging behind the true speed of creation and catastrophic annihilation. We are entirely disconnected from the actual machinery of the cosmos. Human perception of reality is terrifyingly fragile. If the raw, underlying architecture of the universe is a dense, heavy, polished bowling ball, then the entire human experience, our concept of time, our safety, and our physical form is nothing more than a thin layer of condensation left by a passing breath on its surface. A single, indifferent shift from the cosmos would erase it instantly. We sit in our fragile, sterile little terrarium, completely unaware that the walls are made of nothing. If the universe decided to rewrite the rules of physics right now, your DNA would unzip before the pain signals could ever reach your brain. You wouldn't even know what happened. You are simply too slow to register your own deletion. Number 9 and number 8. For decades, physicists offered us a comforting lie. They told us that quantum superposition, the chilling ability of matter to exist in multiple contradictory states at once, was strictly confined to the microscopic world. They promised us that while subatomic particles could be smeared across reality, the macroscopic world of tables, chairs, and human flesh remained reliably stable. That barrier has completely collapsed. According to a landmark study published in the peer-reviewed journal Nature, researchers have successfully achieved the quantum rotation of macroscopic nanoparticles. These are not massless photons or solitary electrons. These are massive, solid objects composed of millions of atoms. In a vacuum chamber cooled to near absolute 0 minus 459 degrees Fahrenheit, where all thermomolecular motion violently stops, they stripped away all environmental interference. In that deafening silence, the solid particle lost its grip on a single reality. Scientists forced this physical structure to rotate in two opposite directions at the exact same time. They pushed physical matter into an incoherent state of macroscopic schizophrenia. To understand the sheer horror of this, look at the biological math. The mass of the nanoparticles used in these levitation experiments is functionally equivalent to the mass of a complex human DNA chain, or a large biological virus. This proves that the building blocks of your own body are fundamentally capable of entering a quantum blur. There is no magical physics boundary that protects large objects from quantum instability. Imagine a single red blood cell navigating your artery. If forced into this state, that cell would simultaneously be delivering oxygen to your beating heart and rotting from necrosis in your lungs. Both realities would overlap in the exact same physical space, completely indistinguishable from one another. We desperately cling to the idea that our size protects us from the chaotic quantum realm, but the universe is entirely indifferent to our definitions of big and small. You are made of 99.999% empty space. The remaining fraction of you is just trembling, unstable geometry. The fact that your body hasn't dissolved into a cloud of conflicting probabilities yet isn't because you are anchored to a solid reality. It is merely a temporary statistical fluke in a very cold, very sterile universe. Number 7. We used to believe that distance kept us safe. The universe is governed by an absolute, unbreakable barrier, the speed of light. At 299,792,458 meters per second, roughly 670 million miles per hour, it is the universal speed limit of causality itself. Nothing with mass can breach it, but quantum entanglement shatters this comforting cage entirely. When two particles become entangled, altering the state of one instantly alters the other. Even if they are situated on opposite ends of the observable universe, a 2026 breakthrough study published in Nature successfully achieved reliable entanglement for macroscopic quantum networks, proving this isn't just theoretical math. It is a functional, observable mechanic of our reality. The disturbing truth is that these particles are not sending signals to each other faster than light. They are not communicating across our space at all. Instead, they are a single object bleeding through the boundaries of parallel universes, being observed from two adjacent timelines simultaneously. Imagine holding one end of a severed rope with the other end placed thousands of miles away on the edge of the Grand Canyon. When you pull your end, the distant rope jerks at the exact same millisecond. The connection isn't traveling through the empty air, it is woven through adjacent realities where you were never even born. With absolute cosmic indifference, the multidimensional architecture of the universe takes a physical distance of 10,000 light-years and violently crushes it down to zero. Distance is a localized illusion. Whatever cosmic horrors lie billions of light-years away are not isolated from us. Through the unseen wiring of the multiverse, they are sitting right next to you. And a sudden snap in that tether could erase our entire solar system before the light of the event even had time to reach our telescopes. Number 6 and number 5. When astronomers mapped the oldest light in existence, they expected to find a uniform glow. Instead, they found a catastrophic flaw in the design of our reality. According to high-fidelity data captured by NASA's WMAP and Planck satellites, there is a massive anomaly buried in the cosmic microwave background. Located in the constellation Eridanus, it is a staggering void stretching 1.8 billion light-years across. To put that into a relatable scale, that gap is wide enough to swallow billions of galaxies exactly like our Milky Way without leaving a trace. Within this abyssal expanse, the temperature of space drops inexplicably. It bleeds heat until it approaches absolute zero, minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, or minus 459 degrees Fahrenheit. At this threshold, all molecular motion violently stops. But this is not just an empty pocket of dead space. Cosmologists and theoretical physicists now suspect it is a physical scar, a cosmic bruise. The mathematics suggests that another, entirely separate universe is physically rubbing against the boundary of our own. Its incomprehensible gravity is dragging against the fabric of our space-time, siphoning the thermal energy out of our reality and leaving behind a freezing, depleted crater. Imagine our entire observable universe as the surface of a very thin, fragile glass mirror. The cold spot is a sprawling network of white stress fractures slowly spiderwebbing across the center of that glass. There is an unimaginably massive, invisible object lurking in the dark on the other side. It is leaning its dead, suffocating weight against our reality. We cannot see it. We cannot measure its intent. We can only sit in the deafening silence and watch as the glass continues to buckle under the pressure. If that membrane shatters, it won't be a cinematic explosion. The catastrophic influx of alien physical laws would flood our space at the speed of light. The oxygen in your blood would instantly forget how to bind to iron. Your cells wouldn't burn or freeze, they would simply cease to be chemically viable, dissolving into a sterile mist of unlinked subatomic particles. We are trapped inside a collapsing bubble, waiting for a neighbor we can't see to finally crush us. Number 4 and number 3. We desperately comfort ourselves with the idea of a singular genesis, the Big Bang, a unique, profound moment of creation that set the stage for human existence. But peer-reviewed cosmology, specifically the framework of eternal inflation, completely incinerates that delusion. Our universe is not the entirety of existence. It is merely a single, momentary bubble forming in a frothing, exponentially expanding quantum foam. The dead space between these bubbles is inflating faster than the speed of light, ensuring that our neighbors are forever pushed beyond our horizon. We are permanently quarantined in a local pocket of reality. But the true horror lies in the sheer volume of this cosmic architecture. According to the mathematical landscape of string theory, widely analyzed in peer-reviewed physics repositories, there are exactly 10 to the 500th power possible configurations for physical laws. Each configuration represents a fully realized universe with its own unique gravity, thermodynamics, and subatomic rules. To grasp the abyssal terror of that number, we have to look at our own reality. If you count every single star, every planet, every grain of sand, and every fundamental particle within our entire 93 billion light-year observable universe, you only reach about 10 to the 80th power atoms. The number 10 to the 500th power is a quantity so massive, so incoherently vast, that mathematics itself turns hostile against human cognition. If you tried to write a zero on every single atom in existence, you would run out of universe long before you finished writing the number. Finding any unique meaning or purpose for humanity in a multiverse this vast is statistically impossible. It is infinitely harder than dropping a single speck of dust into the raging superstorms of Jupiter, waiting a billion years, and hoping the wind randomly reassembles it into the Mona Lisa. In this infinite expanse, every possible variation of reality must exist. There are bubbles where atoms fail to bind, collapsing instantly into dark matter. There are realities where the ambient temperature guarantees your blood would boil into gamma radiation the exact millisecond you were conceived. The multiverse is not a playground of endless possibilities. It is a sterile, infinite graveyard of aborted realities. We are not the chosen center of creation. We are just a random, hyper-specific mathematical accident that hasn't been erased yet. Number 2, you believe you have been lucky in life. Every time you narrowly avoided a fatal traffic accident, every time you recovered from a severe illness that should have killed you, you thought it was a miracle. You are completely wrong. According to the deeply unsettling framework of quantum immortality, your survival is not a stroke of luck. It is a merciless mathematical prison. As we established, every quantum fluctuation forces the universe to branch into infinite parallel realities. But here is the horrifying paradox. Your consciousness functions like a parasite that can only inhabit a living biological host. It is physically and mathematically incapable of experiencing its own non-existence. Therefore, your subjective awareness is forced to violently thread itself into the specific timelines where your biological structure remains intact. When you swerve to avoid that oncoming truck, you didn't actually dodge it. In the vast majority of branching realities, that truck crushed your skull. Your family mourned, your life abruptly ended, but your consciousness simply couldn't follow you into the dark, so it seamlessly migrated into the highly improbable branch where you barely missed the collision. You are walking down a continuously narrowing, suffocating corridor of survival. Every single day, you are leaving behind a mountain of your own rotting corpses in adjacent realities. You remain completely unaware of the massacre because you are only allowed to perceive the sterile timeline where you survived. But the mystery deepens into an absolute deadlock that no human technology, no medical science, and no agency can ever solve. Your biological vessel has strict, unforgiving physical limits. Medical science confirms that the proteins in the human brain begin to permanently denature and unravel at exactly 42 degrees Celsius, or 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit. Above 45 degrees Celsius, rapid and irreversible cell death takes over. So what happens when you reach extreme old age, or when you are caught in a catastrophic event that pushes your body far beyond these biological thresholds? The probability of your survival plummets to a fraction of a decimal point. But in a quantum multiverse, that probability never actually reaches an absolute zero. There is always one microscopic, absurdly unlikely timeline where your failing body continues to function through a sheer statistical anomaly, and your consciousness will be forced to inhabit that timeline. You will find yourself trapped in a deteriorating, agonizing biological cage. You will be pushed to the absolute extreme of physical pain, unable to slip away because the mathematics of the universe refuse to close the loop. Death is not a peaceful release. It is a luxury that quantum mechanics strictly denies you. There is no savior waiting at the end of your life. There is only the cosmic indifference of an equation that forces you to survive forever in the darkest and most agonizing corners of the multiverse. Number 1. The ultimate human fear is the end of time. We dread the day our civilization collapses, our sun dies, and the universe fades into an abyssal, freezing void, but we are terrified of the wrong thing. In 1967, physicists formulated the Wheeler-DeWitt equation, an attempt to unify quantum mechanics and general relativity into one ultimate framework. It was supposed to be the master key to reality. Instead, it revealed a catastrophic flaw in our perception of existence. In this master equation of the universe, the mathematical variable for time is completely absent. It isn't an approximation. It wasn't simplified out of the math. At the deepest, most fundamental level of physical law, time simply does not exist. The universe is not a sequence of events. It is not a movie playing out from the Big Bang to the heat death. It is a rigid, static, and timeless mathematical structure. Every single moment of your life, the formation of the Earth, and the eventual burning of the final stars, they all exist simultaneously, right now. The sensation of time flowing, the feeling that the past is gone and the future is unwritten, is nothing more than a neurological hallucination. Your consciousness is merely a biological spotlight moving across a cold, static canvas that has already been fully painted. Every choice you think you are making, every moment of suffering you will ever endure, is already permanently locked into the geometry of the cosmos. Nothing is coming into being. Nothing is passing away. We always fear how human history will finally end. But the coldest truth of the quantum equations is this: there is no end waiting for us, and no beginning ever truly happened. We are not travelers moving through the flow of time. We are just fossilized statues permanently imprisoned in a mathematical crystal that the universe forgot long ago. Thank you for watching and sticking till the end. We've got plenty more videos coming in the future. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss them. See you in the next one.